Hello everybody and welcome back to Critical Rocket's Chassis Variant series. We're kicking off a new one with the Cataphract, and we're going to go with the OXP as it's called in game. Although this isn't strictly correct as a variant name. The P, I'm assuming, is actually a little PGI-P. It's actually just supposed to be called the OX, and the reason for that is because it was actually a legitimate design that used a piece of tech and equipment that isn't really in MWO, and I couldn't really see much of a use for it, so I don't blame them for not adding it. But basically, it was supposed to come with what's called a remote sensor dispenser, which is basically little sort of deployable sensors that you could be used to create a perimeter, a landing zone marker, and on the tabletop, it basically, once it was triggered, it would give a kind of line of sight without actually needing line of sight because, yeah, the target triggered it. So that's the reason the OX has a P on it in MWO. Everything else about it is legitimate, though. It is the ECM-equipped variant of the Cataphract, and is actually one of the earliest prototypes developed by the Capellan Confederation while they were still fleshing out the mech. Historically, the Cataphract is one of the first original designs to be created post-Succession Wars, at a time when many great houses were still holding on to what they could build. The Capellans, as seems to be one of their traits, were always very quick in being able to develop brand new pieces of tech and entirely new variants of battle mechs. Even with their limited resources and infrastructure, and the Cataphract is a testament to that. It was actually built from parts that they could still make, so the Cataphract is actually supposed to be a kind of legitimate Frankenmech built from Marauder parts, Phoenix Hawk parts, and Shadow Hawk parts, which is what gave it such an odd look originally. If you have a look at the version from tabletop, you can see there is a significant change visually between this version and that of the MWO version. It's obviously, because it's a production prototype model, it's somewhat different from the standard Cataphract that you see much later on. This one coming with a PPC, an AC5 and 2 medium lasers, but it does have ECM, which does make it a potentially quite a useful mech on the field. Within MechWarrior Online's view of things, however, the mech does come with a total of 4 energy hardpoints and a single ballistics alongside the ECM hardpoint. So those arms can pack a bit more of a punch. Of course, you could bring it with just a bunch of pulse lasers or whatever it is that you feel like. One of the beauties about the Cataphract was it was always a very personal mech. You could customize it to quite a good degree. 70 tons. Decent amount of weapons, and I suppose the only thing it's really lacking is any missile capability, and there is a variant or two that does come with that, but most of its focus is on ballistics and energy, which again fits perfectly with the mech that it's built from, the 3 not ever really having that kind of capability anyway, so it's a nice little touch by the writers in the original Cataphract design. Yeah, I mean, I could go a bit more into the history of the Cataphract. It was built on Tikhonov, so anyone who's a member of TCAF will know that this is actually one of their mechs, basically. Shortly before the planet was taken by the Federated Suns, it was an exclusively Capellan design up until the point where, once they got hold of the factory, the House Davian forces decided, yeah, actually we quite like this, so we're going to build our own, and that's when they made the 3D, which oddly is considered the standard in Sana, which I think is a bit of a snub to the poor Capellans. Their version would be the 3L, I would guess, would be their standard version of it. The mech ends up making around about 25% of the entire house's military heavy complement, which, when you consider it, that's a fuckload of heavy mechs. That's a fuckload of Cataphracts within the Capellan borders as well, and it's understandable. It's a damn good design. One of the other things I'd also like to stress is that throughout these, I've never been a good Capellan pilot, in the sense that I've never been a good Cataphract pilot. So unfortunately, although I probably don't do brilliantly in any one Cataphract model, that is not an indictment on the actual mech itself. It's a superbly good variant in the heavy category. It's so much fun to play. It has a lot of options for you for customization. It can do a hell of a lot of damage. It's just in my ham-fisted, useless hands, I don't do that well in the Cataphract, unfortunately. I can live a long time, I just can't do a lot of damage or get many kills. And it's also, in MechWarrior Online terms, it's one of the older mechs in the game as well. It was, I think it was the second mech that I ever bought a hero for, when I had some of my founders MC, so yeah, it puts that into perspective. But yeah, I believe this is almost over for me. It was a semi-decent escort round. It was a big fight. I was ignored for ages. My one medium laser. I guess my ECM maybe kept me hidden. I don't know. But yeah, I'll leave the dying seconds of the round. And thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Target acquired. New target acquired. Target destroyed. New target acquired.
More to go, soldiers. Our dropship is inbound.
New target acquired.